Good. All right, gentlemen, if y'all are, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is September the 19th at 6 o'clock, or 1800 hours, whichever way you want to look at it. Everybody has in front of them the minutes from the August 15th commission meeting. Anybody see any mistakes, additions, or deletions that need to be made to it?
Sir, would you hold one, please?
Yes, sir. I'm out.
It's good now. Okay. It was just my phone.
Good to continue forward?
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So, once again, any corrections, additions, or deletions to the August 15th meeting? Hearing none, need a motion?
Make a motion. Accept it.
Second.
All right. So a motion's been made and seconded. All in favor of approving the minutes, signify, raise your hand. All opposed? Seeing none, minutes are approved. Radio Communication Committee, I have not been able to attend any of these things, so Director, Chief, either one of y'all got anything to add, say, take away from?
Not specific from a meeting with them, but there's been a lot going on. We've been a lot of tests going on, and they are trying to work through some of the changes and making sure that we have it programmed right, number one, but some of which is the change in training that may have to happen because of using a digital platform. So they are working through that, and you know the biggest increase I would say on the radio side is the ability. We now have the ability in the field to patch, to communicate with Clemson and Pickens. We'll be actually getting the Pickens radio soon, so that if we ever get on a scene with them, our radios will talk to their radios. So that is an advancement outside of the normal conversations we've generally had. But that most of the product is here. They've done it. We did it on the big search some, but the capability is, we're progressing in that manner for that. But they are still working on programming. Testing on the differences between the Kenwood and the Motorola, making sure that we're, connectivity and all that we have correct, which is not a small endeavor, is it's a big change from analog to digital.
Okay, you good? All right. Let's see, Red Crown?
So pumper tankers, council authorized the lease purchase Tuesday night and also the purchase. So that will be going through. What I will say is they are not ordered. They will not be ordered for some time. And the fact that we're going down that process, that we actually have to get the lease purchase in place, which takes time. So the attorney and finance is working through that presently. As soon as that's done, we will get it ordered and we will get a better time frame. Chief, if I'm not mistaken, it can be 12 to 18 months. So we're going to most likely get a couple early, get that we were able to get the chassis in line, and then there may be some more later. So we'll get a better true time frames, or better time frames, I should say, as we actually get that lease purchase and how long it takes us to do that. So that was a $3.3 million investment for those tanker pumpers, and there's 6 of them. So any questions?
Answer the one I had.
Mobile air trailer. Spoke to the vendor. A few little hang-ups on actual product coming in for it. We hope to do training at the November burns. So anyone that comes to the November burns, we hope to have that trailer operational by then, and be able to do some training for the new mobile. Basically, the mobile trailer is replacing mobile air. We won't get rid of mobile air, but it's its replacement with a compressor and fill station all in one trailer. It'll be housed out of the camp area right now. The good part is we'll be able to go to any station if they just have a Cascade and fill from it. very efficiently. It is a high-end one. So, it'll take some training, take some policies on how that's going to work, but we can, those 12, we took their system that is just a fill station. We won't have to leave. We'll be able to fill their fill station at 12. They won't have to buy a compressor unless they want to for that station. We'll be able to fill, and anywhere that doesn't have a compressor, we'll be able to fill a Cascade, a truck, the dive truck, whatever that may be, efficiently for that. But we hope, like I said, we're looking at the last week in October is actually delivery date, so.
Okay, so last week in October, you said?
Yes.
Okay, my man, I was thinking November.
Oh, so November, I did say November for the burns. We're hoping to have it for the training.
Okay.
Maintenance on equipment. It is a daunting task. Chief can contest to constantly moving stuff around, constantly not having parts, constantly working through how can we make things work and trying to make the right decision between money, replacement, and all that. But what I will say is we need help when it comes to maintenance on equipment, and that's notification. And when I say that, we're not without fallacy and without mistakes. But if someone runs a call and finds something wrong, we need it notified. We need to make sure we complete that system and flow, because our guys are trying to check. But we all know that, things are busy, those are things, and if you know about it, if we have an issue, we just need to make sure we document it so that we can get it fixed. We can fix a lot, takes time, so the sooner we know about it. It could be a week before our guys get to your station to check something out, and that's a week that we could already be either getting parts or getting those. So please just push it out there to try to, help us identify issues. Even if it's something small, because a lot of times something small, we can at least put it on the list and try to get it fixed. Or if it is a turn signal and it takes, 2 months to actually get the part in, it's something small, but it's just waiting on something. Prime example, I had a light on my Suburban that was out, and I thought I had reported it, but I didn't do the paperwork, my own fault. And I went in and said, "Is this part ever in?" And they're like, "We never ordered it." And it was my own fault for not doing the documentation of it. So, if we can have everyone doing eyes, more eyes on things as it comes through. We're getting ready to start doing the compressors and those kind of things. For air compressors, we're in the middle of bidding that to do the yearlies and all of that as it goes through. And we find out a knob is broken, and if you didn't fill a cylinder, you don't know the knob's broken. Well, it's a part that you just don't carry. And so then it goes another 6 months till they come down because they order the parts. So if we know about it, we can tell vendors, hey, we need this, we need that fixed. We did that with one of the compressors at Rescue 4, and he was able to bring the part we needed instead of having to wait for them to come back, because we do pay a service fee for them to come back if it's not part of their actual quarterly repair processes. So that'll help us. Ultimately, we want to try to keep everything up as much as possible. And we talk about maintenance of equipment. That also is accidents. That's maintenance on equipment. If there's a dent, if there's a scratch, if there's whatever, we need it notified. We're not trying to get people in trouble. We're trying to identify issues. We're trying to identify things we need to repair, and get them in a timely manner. Hopefully, maintenance is always struggling for people and qualified people, and especially ones that can work on tankers and pumps and those kind of things. So any of that, we need to make sure we get that notification. And sometimes we do say it on scene, which is not a bad thing. But we need to follow up with some documentation, just because everyone is busy, and that person that we may have said on scene may have forgotten because it was just a conversation. It wasn't a documentation. That'll help us out to serve you better as it comes through. Both all the way from, rescue equipment and the equipment on the trucks that may have gotten used, to the truck itself, not just, we're not just talking it goes to maintenance. It may have to go somewhere else to be fixed, but we just need to work on that. And that is all I have today.
We'll follow up on that, just question, like I know it's
Sure.
come up in Chiefs and probably come up again next week in the Chiefs meeting, but likewise, equal notification when stuff is fixed so that, we know, I mean, does, you got a group on our end down there that's good, that if something's noticed at my station, they call me and let me know, hey, it's out of service, whatever. But there's some things that's been, I think, left in ERS that was fixed and not taken out, and we didn't know, and y'all didn't know, and, just kind of that, which,
We've talked to Dwayne about that. A lot of times they'll fix a whole list of stuff that's in the ERS, but they never take it out of ERS.
Yes.
And so Mark and Dwayne's had conversations about a way to make sure that stays cleaned
Yeah.
up. And Connor was even helping yesterday with light bulbs and some little things that he could help with to clean up some things in ERS. So we've identified that there's some issues in making sure it gets taken back out of ERS, or if everything wasn't completed, then let's put a new order in ERS with just those things, so that y'all know where we're at as well, so.
yeah, I mean, it's just communication both ways.
And then we've had a time or two that Trent's picked up a vehicle and took it back and neglected to call the chief and say, hey, your vehicle's back, so we've tried to rectify that as well.
All right, Director Crown, thank you, sir. That's all you had, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chief Smith?
I gave you each a updated emergency vehicle operations SOG. And a couple things just to point out, not to go through the whole thing with you. License requirements. State law states that to drive a fire truck, you should have a Class E or a Class F license. Well, Class F was the old endorsement that they used to put on the back of your license, which the DMV does not do anymore, does not recognize anymore. So that leaves us with Class E. So Class E or CDL, I know we have drivers in the county that already have CDL, so they're above the Class E. But the process for getting Class E license now, and this is something Chief Olafield's been chasing down for a little while to get some clarification on, you get your permit from the DMV, and then the Fire Academy actually comes and teaches that Class E class. Once they check you off, they give you a piece of paper, you take that to the DMV and you get a Class E license. So that is to get us in compliance with the law, Class E or Class F, but they don't do Class F anymore. I've even asked Highway Patrols, you know what a Class F license is, and they said no. So,
Well, I was gonna ask you, I mean, did they change the law where volunteers were exempt from any of that at one point?
so one part of the state law states that you don't have to have a specific license to drive a fire truck, then another part in the state law says it's required for a Class E or Class F. So, I don't know, and nobody's gonna address the law. So, but it's in two different locations. So you can Google, license requirement for driving a fire truck, and it's gonna tell you Class E and Class F.
Yeah.
So, so that's what we found in the law, and so that's why we put that there as a Class E license, and everybody's gonna take some time to get people there.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's there.
Well, with that being said, I mean, at one point, and I'm not sure what the numbers were, if y'all do speak up, please. The EVDT was supposed to cover this thing. If you took the EVDT.
So that was the Class F. You took the EVDT, and then you got an endorsement sticker.
No, just a couple of years ago, they were talking about just doing, just like with driver's ed now. If you go out here and you take outside driver's ed, then your driving ed instructor can sign off on you. You take that letter to DMV. A few years ago, they were talking about changing our EVDT to do the same thing.
That we haven't found where that's happened yet. So, talking with the Fire Academy and DMV. So that's why the Fire Academy now is offering a Class E license, class. So they've got several, instructors throughout the state that can come in and actually teach the class, check you off, and then you take that to the DMV. So, they removed the CDL and Class E testing from Seneca. It's actually moved to, I think, Greenville to get your CDL Class E. So, but you can get your permit here and then the fire academy can come in and do the class. We'll end up hosting several classes, so if people get their permit, we're gonna do several request classes, because all of our people have got to get that as well. But we've been holding on this to get clarification from the state and DMV on the proper process on, do we not recognize Class Fs anymore? Do we not have a process for Class Fs? Because that's what I was asking. You take the EVDT class, your instructor sends the paperwork to the DMV, and then they recognize that on your license, you get the endorsement on the back, which was the way we did it 20 years ago.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
don't do that anymore. They don't do that
Since
anymore.
my hair was
So-
black, so it's been a while.
Yeah. So that was Class F, and they don't do that anymore, so anyway.
Well, I know Brady and I had conversations about what we're talking about.
Yes, and Brady actually started trying to figure this out before he left, and then Chief Hollifield picked it up and finished it out. He's even had conversations with Senator Alexander about the process as well, and why we can't go to Seneca now and get those testing done. And then we found out about the Fire Academy's program, so anyway, that's in there.
Any idea what the time on the time of the class?
I don't. I don't think it's no more than a day. Seriously, because, I know a couple of chiefs.
It's a prerequisite EVDT.
Prerequisite is a Class E permit
That's it.
to get a Class E license, because that's,
Oh, right.
yeah. So our prerequisite to drive a fire truck is EVDT and pump ops, and that's what I was getting to. And on page 2, you got driving and operating emergency apparatus. For a pumper engine, you gotta have EVDT and pump ops 1. The license is on the front page. For a tanker, you need EVDT, pump ops 1, pump ops 2. In an aerial, have an aerial ops. And then for medical responders, for people that don't drive fire trucks, they can have the Fire Academy's EVDT, or VFIS offers a EVDT training as well, so. And I know a lot of people may not have pump ops 1 certification, but you've had some kind of pump ops training. And of course, that falls on the department chiefs anyway. But that's what we're putting here is, you need to have that. There's also, in here about using, warning devices and emergency driving, non-emergency driving and backing. All that's here in the SOG. So the biggest thing was the Class E license. And, Chief, I'll get you an answer on how long the class is from the academy, Fire Academy. They've only been doing this the last 2 or 3 years, I think, as far as the Fire Academy.
But now on the question I got, so the class, you'll do the walk around and the driving part with the fire academy,
That's right.
and you'll just take paperwork to the highway department.
That's my understanding, yes,
So
sir.
you'll have to
No,
do all that over
No,
again.
you don't have to go back to the DMV and do all that over again. You take that paperwork to the DMV. They've worked that out with the Fire Academy and state DMV, is my understanding. So you don't have to go back to the DMV at all, except to take that paperwork and get your license.
You'll have to go to Greenville to all.
No.
You've got the VFIS on here for the medical responders. Is SEVO still recognized or not? That's the commercial emergency vehicle operator. I know we hosted a lot of those classes here back in Charlie King days, and I don't know if that's still a thing or not. So several of our guys took that one.
We'll have to look at that class. I mean, it is much, we can list 100 classes in here, because a lot of different ones have been out here. I think the goal is, we can look at that as, and I don't have a problem looking at it and saying, hey, and other classes as looked at, just, everyone's not the same.
Right. We may still have 1 or 2 guys that just have that one. That's why I was asking. So
So last year, we were trying to make sure we found something for people that are not driving the fire trucks, so that rescue personnel had training as well, and so VFIS was an option that we could teach. So that was why that was listed, so as long as the other one,
Yeah.
suffices.
I do remember us bringing some of those in, and I just.
it was like an 8-hour class. It was
Yeah.
a 1-day class.
Yeah, it was a
wasn't
1-day
anything.
class.
That's what.
And that's what they.
VFIS.
Okay.
Yep. So, yep.
I don't see an issue. I just, to be honest with you, don't remember it exactly, so.
Gotcha.
Any other questions on the SOG?
This is new, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You go with me following up on, the state law with that as well?
Yes, sir, please. I mean, it's listed in there twice, but absolutely. If
Yeah.
you find something different, then please let me know.
No, I just wanted I mean, I get it twice. One says you don't, one says you do. We choosing the one that says you do. Why? It's a question.
Liability.
I was gonna say, I would say liability.
I mean,
Well,
we're
But
picking,
once again, if the law says no and the law says yes.
Which one's the lawyer gonna use?
Does it really matter?
Which one's Miss Smith?
I mean, let's face it, we can jump through all these hoops.
Right, right.
If we hit somebody in a fire truck,
That's right. That's right,
it's not good for us anyway.
that's right, that's right.
Period.
That's right.
You know, I mean, is it 2 zeros off or 1 zero off? It don't make a
Right,
difference.
right.
Because it don't matter what license you got, what training you got, if you disobey the law.
But if you don't have any training, that's gonna make it worse. Make it easier for an attorney, I would say.
Yeah, but, you know, we still got EVDT, which is emergency vehicle driver's training, which is not just simply driving a fire truck. Pump ops ain't gonna teach me with running through a stop sign, ain't gonna help me
That's
busting
right.
through a red light.
That's right.
Ain't gonna help me driving too fast, losing control.
That's right.
You know, a Class C driver's license is not gonna prevent any of that from
No,
happening.
no.
Okay, so, it still, at the end of the day, if you're driving too fast or without due care, you're liable anyway.
That's right.
So, let's go get A's with all of it, and we're still gonna get sued,
That's right.
you know, but now you're just asking
No, if you
volunteers
find anything different in state law,
to jump through a bunch of hoops
Yeah.
that we ain't jumped through in 40 years. I mean, it's just kinda,
well, stuff changes all the time.
expect some, feedback on that.
Yeah.
That's,
Any other questions? Okay. And at the end of the day, I mean, each chief is responsible for their department, so you do what you want to do in Crossroads, you know?
well, not if you give me an SOG, says I'm a volunteer with Oconee,
Yeah.
this is the guideline I've got to follow. Standard operating guidelines, right? So it's not what I wanna do.
I like
You're
this.
still the chief at Crossroads.
I understand,
And-
but if
and
you give me these-
I'm giving you that as a suggested SOG. If you decide to go out and do something different at Crossroads, you're still the chief there.
Yeah.
So,
That covers
I've never heard of-
County.
Suggested operating guidelines, I thought it was standard operating guidelines.
but,
And when it's
but,
got the director's name on it, it says it's effective on a day's date.
that's right,
This is black and white rules
that's
and
right. But
regulations.
you,
This is
but
state
you're
law.
the- You're the fire chief
Yeah.
for Crossroads Fire Department.
I get it.
So,
You gonna accept the liability.
and I would appreciate, Chief, I would appreciate that when I send out SOGs, that all departments looked at it like that is the SOG, but not every department
I
does
get
that.
it, I get
So
it.
that's why I made that statement. That wasn't
Understand.
directed at you.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm good.
The last thing I got is just an incentive deadline reminder. We less than 2 weeks away from the deadline, and I've sent out multiple emails. We've said it in here several times, so just make sure your departments know that it is what it is. You gotta have first aid certification card, a CPR certification card, 20 hours of training, the incident command training, 1 hour, which can be included in that 20, and a valid physical. So,
First aid, CPR,
physical and 20 hours of training, 1 hour of instant command.
Okay.
So 19 hours and 1 hour in instant command.
I talked to you earlier about our first aid, but I talked to Mike Carroll. He says he got it in there now.
Yeah, he does. The ones that y'all sent has been updated in there, yes, yes. And that's why I sent those out when I did, so that you guys knew where your people were. So, especially for physicals, because that's takes a little time to get people lined up with that, so. Anyway, that's all I got.
all right. Commissioners, Region One's not present. Mr. Tony, what you got for us? Anything?
Don't have anything. Well,
Mr. Austin, you got anything?
No, sir, I think we're good.
And I'm gonna pitch my, I'm just playing. I ain't got nothing this time that needs to be addressed. Region Five's not here. I guess he had to work tonight or something.
think it's in Columbia, isn't it?
Okay.
Terry's in Columbia.
All right. Anything else for the betterment of this group?
Actually, one quick question about the 20 hours of training. Is that from this calendar year only, or is that from 10/1
From
of
October
23?
1st through 9/30.
Perfect, okay, got it.
All right.
Make a motion with adjourn.
Motion been made to adjourn. Need a second? You second, Austin?
Second, yes, sir.
Seconded by Austin. All in favor of? Motion's adjourned at, come on, phone, 6:25.